All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, athletes, parents, everyone, welcome to the very first episode of College Uncut with Green Room Futures. I'm your host, Ayana Aoyagi, and I have a very, very special guest here with me today. I'm with Patrick Millard. He has been through the college system. He's graduated. He's now living back here in Australia. And I just want to introduce you to Patrick Millard. Patrick, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, absolutely. Well, thank you for the great introduction, Ayana.
You're welcome.
Look, I grew up in Brisbane.
Yep.
Been a Brisbane boy my whole life. I actually grew up playing rugby,
Really?
funnily enough.
I did not know that.
So, yeah. So,
Oh.
till I was about 14, I
Yep.
played rugby. And then I kind of made a transition through futsal to play soccer. And then, that's what eventually got me over to the States. And then now I'm back here and doing real estate and still playing footy on the side. So, yeah.
So, Pat, we know each other. We met over in the States. We went to the same school together. We went to Creighton University. And so I know a little bit about Pat, but talk me through your growing up, playing sports and being an athlete, and what got you into rugby, what got you into playing soccer, and then dive into how you got into the college system, what you had to do as a young athlete, as a young student, to get into that system.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, initially sports to me was always a kind of a release, an escape from reality, something I could do to get away from schooling and get away from, having to do stuff in the classroom. I always kind of enjoyed getting out on the field, whether it was playing AFL, cricket, any of these kind of sports growing up. I'd always use it as an excuse to get away. And so that's kind of what brought me into the whole becoming an athlete and doing that kind of path. I think Dad and I, or it would have been my dad who really kind of pushed me to be an athlete growing up because he knew the importance of being in a team. But generally speaking, the pathway for me was a bit of a unique one. So I had gone and played rugby till I was about 14, Division 1 and stuff like that. It was always going to be rugby, but then socially it didn't really click for me. So a lot of what I find important in a team is if you get along with your teammates.
Yeah.
And that wasn't really happening in rugby. But when I went and played soccer on the side, all of them, we all clicked and got along really well. They were all my good mates. So I started playing it as a kind of social reason when I was younger. And then that kind of just progressed. And there've obviously been roadblocks and stuff like that. But generally, it kind of just kept playing and I kept getting better, kept getting little opportunities. Maybe the guy in front of me got injured or something like that. And I got to go and play. But overall, as a kind of athlete and trying to progress into the college system, it was never even the kind of the game plan for me. I wanted to just go straight to England and play professionally.
Yeah.
But when I went over there, I got cut from Stevenage FC, which is like a League 2 team in the professional kind of leagues in England, which is 4th tier, I think.
Yeah.
And pretty much what ended up happening was I had been playing in their youth academy, and then I came back home afterwards, after being cut, and I was like, what am I going to do with myself? I want to still play football, but I don't have an opportunity to play professionally in England like I'd wanted to. And so I figured maybe it was time to try and, go down different pathways. And that's where I kind of met Matt.
Yep.
Who at that stage, Green Room Futures wasn't a thing. It was just Matt Wade.
Yep.
And he helped me get over to America and starting off my career in college kind of sports. So, and eventually we got to meet each other actually at Creighton, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And look, lots of fun, lots of meeting new people. And I always say this to a lot of the younger kids that I get to meet in sports is go down that path, have a look, explore those avenues.
Yeah.
Talk with Matt, talk with those people, because it's not every day you get to go and play the sport you love in a different kind of environment.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah.
Yeah, well said.
Mm.
Yeah, so let's talk about Matt.
Yeah.
Matt Wade is the director and founder of Green Room Futures, and we both have been talking. He was also my agent when I was going through the college system, so we both went through the same guy, the same system, and talk about how you met Matt. Where was it? Was it at like an ID camp or?
No, actually, so funnily enough, this was in that kind of weird period. I was in England and then I came back home.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I going to do with myself? And there was a time that I had tried back in year 10, I think. I had tried to go to America and kind of explore that avenue. But then I was like...
For high school?
Yeah, in high school. Like that's because generally I think a lot of people... I mean, I don't know about you. Did you start in high school or did you start earlier?
What, in America?
No, to try and go to
I was
America.
I was in high school. I was about 14 when I started. Yeah.
So,
same with you.
No, like I had thought of it.
I see.
I think my parents were a little bit fuming with me because they dropped the bomb, but then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And so I went to England straight after high school, came back, and then I spoke Matt. I don't know how we got into contact with Matt. I think it was through a friend.
Yeah.
And they just said, look, Matt can get you over there and you can play football. And I was like, that sounds great to me.
Yeah.
All I want to do is play football and I want to be in a different environment. That was like the two big things that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and especially overseas, like I always I was very adventurous, wanted to go explore, see different cultures, see different things, even if it's America and it's a bit, scary, but I always wanted to do that. So when I came back from England, I got in contact with Matt. He calls me up and we had a bit of a conversation. He goes, yeah, we'll find you a place to play.
Yeah.
And then quite quickly it happened. I think it was before a fall. So like actually the season of sport when you're playing soccer, right? Like the actual season.
Yeah, so the fall season starts in August and ends in December.
There you go.
Yeah. So
I can't even remember that.
Yeah.
Like it's
been so long.
It's been so long.
It's been so long.
Like a year. But yeah. And so it was before the fall and it was like in a week turnaround. Like I
Really?
Yeah, I absolutely.
That's insane.
It was mental. Like how quickly it happened. We had to get to Sydney. We had to get all these visas stuff going on.
Yeah.
And anyway, so he calls me up. He goes, we've got you a place at this junior college, which I didn't know anything about.
Yeah.
It's the middle of America, Iowa, Council Bluffs, if anyone wants to look it up. It's just literally
good old
middle of
Iowa.
nowhere. Yeah, there you go. Right next to Omaha, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, and I get the call from the coach, and the coach goes, hey, and his name's Mike Brown, amazing coach. One of my favorite and most influential people I've ever met in my entire life. He's
That's
amazing.
Fantastic.
I don't know if you had heard of him because you went to junior college as well, right?
Yeah, in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Which
I don't think I've heard of him. Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's
Tyler
right.
was massive.
Yeah. Well,
Great
rival
JUCO.
schools. Yeah.
Big rivalry.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hated you guys.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I was there and Mike calls me up. It's his first year back. He had been in the school when they'd won a national tournament in 2013.
Yeah.
And pretty much he calls me, goes, look, I'm not looking for good players. And I go, okay.
Fair enough.
That's striking my ego. I thought I was a pretty good player. But anyways, he goes, I'm not looking for good players. I'm looking for people who are first and foremost have good characters.
Yeah.
Good attitudes.
Yeah.
And able to be coached and moldable. So he calls me and I go, look, that's everything I want. And like, I just want to get better. I'll do whatever you need, whatever you need. I'll be the number one team guy. You know, I was taking the stats the first year.
Yeah.
I was taking all the ball bags. Like I was absolutely run to the litter, you know?
True freshman.
Freshman, as freshman as it goes. Like I wasn't, and to be honest with you, Yanni, I was not like, of the quality that was there, like, junior college, it's either really good or, average or, it's everything in between.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And so I get to this junior college, which, by the way, facilities, even for a junior college, was out of this world, like.
Really? Like what?
Well, they had this massive wellness center that they just built. They had an indoor turf, 70-meter, grass pitch.
Yeah. Was it
And
like a dome or something like
no,
that?
no, like a big, almost like a dome, but it wasn't a dome. It was like a big building,
Just a big building.
massive.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
it had like
you
6
need
basketball courts.
you
and
needed that though.
Yeah.
Like Iowa is just
There's
so cold in the winter.
So freezing.
Yeah.
Like
Ridiculous.
negative 25 degrees
That's-
Celsius.
that's
and
the
you walk
Midwest for you.
outside and you have the water and it just freezes over the top of your head.
Did you do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I should have
watched
done
my-
that.
Well, you were in Thailand though.
Yeah.
So
but in Creighton, like
Creighton, yeah,
I should have
absolutely.
done that.
Oh, we should have done that.
Ah.
I think, anyways, it's silly because everyone gets burnt, but yeah. So we were kind of in this situation where I've come over and there's a guy from Dubai. He's
Yep.
Canadian and he's from Dubai. You get these people just from everywhere.
Yeah.
His name's Jas. He's actually playing in the Canadian National League, whatever now.
Really?
Canadian Premier
Cool.
League. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's doing really well. And he came over. He was like 21 or 20. Like he was 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
Far and away.
Yeah.
More talented, more experienced. He'd played in France and everywhere, right?
He was a goalkeeper. Like
Yeah, he was a
yourself?
goalkeeper. So I was underneath him,
Yeah.
and I learned so much from him. Like
Yeah.
he was absolutely paramount.
Yeah.
To kind of my beginning of the career, and pretty much what Mike Brown had said, the coach. He said, "Look, Patch, just be the best teammate you can be." And I took that to heart. Like I was like, okay, so you don't rate me as a keeper, but I'll just be my best teammate. But in that situation, you're conflicted. You go, okay, well, am I going to just give up now after a year,
Mm-hmm.
or are you going to really submerge yourself in this new experience, have a red hot crack?
Yeah.
Try your absolute hardest because you don't know where this is going to end.
Yeah.
So I did that. I just went hard and we ended up making the national tournament, which was massive for him. And then the next year after I was playing and we actually made runners up, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then the year after I had left and gone to Creighton, which is fantastic. Division 1, one of the best, oldest schools
One of
in
the best
soccer.
schools in the
Absolutely,
country.
definitely. And then they ended up winning it as well. So that was fantastic. Just to be a part of that journey was so good, and I was so happy for Mike and the whole team to end up winning a national tournament. So it was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you talk about like freshman year and coming in, you're new to the team, you don't have real experience in that conference that you're in, and it is so hard to find your footing and find your people and what your role is in the team. But a lot of freshmen go through that, like
heaps. There's so many different freshman kind of journeys you see.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure when you were a freshman, it would have been different from when I was a freshman.
Yeah.
And I've seen freshmen come in and just be the men. Like they are already classes above. But then I've seen freshmen come in and they're just like, okay, you need some time to develop.
Yeah.
And it's not as straightforward as just walking into a team, or you just need to, like you said, you need to find your people.
So coming into a community college in in the US, all community colleges, you have a maximum of 2 years.
2 years.
Anyway, so you can get your associate's degree,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of students and student athletes, they can decide whether to move on from this junior college and go to a 4-year college to, keep going, keep studying and get their bachelor's degree or even their master's. And so for the both of us, we went to a junior college, and so I actually went to Tyler in Texas, and some of the most fun, like just wild, crazy. I could tell you so many stories. I won't. Not to all the parents out there, but just
There's
coming
a lot more
in.
happening in Tyler than there is in Council Bluffs.
Well, you'd think so.
Yeah.
The area I was in was about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, directly east of Dallas.
Okay.
So we did, go to Dallas quite a bit, but it's a drive. You're an international. You don't have a car.
Yeah.
You can't really go there without somebody else.
It was like if you met someone with a car, you're like, you're my mate.
You're my new best friend. No, it's true though. America is huge.
Massive.
You can't really go anywhere without like a car and trains, public transport, buses. They just don't exist really.
No, not in the Midwest at least. You get it a lot more on East Coast and
on the
stuff.
East Coast, West
It's West
Coast,
Coast,
yeah, 100%. But you know, big states,
Yeah.
especially like Texas, nothing. You know,
I mean, Texas is massive, right?
Texas
Yeah,
is
everything's
huge.
bigger in Texas.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we actually our first national tournament was in Tyler. So
You
we had
must
to.
have, yeah,
You guys would have been playing our women's team for sure.
yeah.
Or
but
at least in the same comp.
I think we were like the national tournament was playing at the same time for men and women.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So you boys were all of you came to Tyler to play,
Yeah.
and we actually went to Melbourne, Florida, to
That's
play
right.
in our women's national
That's right.
tournament.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because I ended up graduating from my school
Yeah.
in Melbourne,
You went.
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went
Um,
with where did you get Gulf Coast or was it Florida?
Florida Tech.
Florida Tech. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, keeping on freshmen and stuff like coming in,
yeah.
it was really hard as well for me. I came in from playing 2 years, starting every game in the NPLW here in Australia in Victoria.
Yeah.
I was playing for Calder United.
Okay. Awesome.
And I had a blast. I had some of the best years of my life here in Melbourne, and I love Melbourne. That's the sole reason why I love Melbourne is because of my teammates, my team, the 2 seasons we had, and then in my second season in Calder, I left about halfway through the season to start school in August because that's when American schools start their colleges. So yeah, it was tough. There was another goalie. She was about 6'4", about as tall as Pat. And that's what they kind of that physical aspect that they looked for.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that. I'm
No.
5'7" on a good day.
Yeah.
And it was just hard to try and find my footing. So we did halves basically, as you know. A lot of goalkeepers have gone through.
Was this halves during the season? Or
yeah.
really?
Throughout the season, it was like half here and there.
Yeah.
Some games I wouldn't even play, and it would be hard to, think about what my coach was thinking about when he was doing this.
Yeah, I never understood that why they do halves.
Yeah.
Better off just letting them play a full game and then kind of go game for game or something like that. But
yeah, it was kind of based off of what the coach wanted. Shout out Coach Corey Rose, fantastic guy.
Yeah.
I had some of the best coaching in Tyler under his coaching, and everything happens for a reason. Coaches have their reasons, and in the end, I grew from that as a player, emotionally and throughout the game as well. Like it's something about the college system and getting into the system as a freshman, working your way up as a sophomore, then becoming a junior, and then you're a senior, and it's like I've been through the ranks. I've been through the years. I've suffered. I've worked hard. I've achieved heaps. It's kind of like it builds you.
Absolutely.
It builds you as a person, and it's.
Well, I actually was that first year, the one where I'm just like the stat guy and the teammate guy. I was redshirted, so I wasn't allowed to play.
Yep.
And
so explain what a red shirt is.
A red shirt essentially is the coach tells you like, hey, you're not going to play this season.
Yeah.
You're just going to train.
Yeah.
And you just have to get better, and then we'll reevaluate next season.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the first year, he goes, Patrick, and this is why I absolutely love Mike, is he'd have so many one-on-ones with you. He'd take you aside. He wouldn't mind if there's a little bit of aggression, passion on the field. Like he was very much open to that. But he'd take you aside and like, hey, look, this is our plan for you. We have a plan. Like it's not just willy-nilly and on a whim. This is what we're going to do. It's very structured.
Mm-hmm.
First year, we're going to redshirt you, mate. Like you're not good enough to start. Jas has come in, who the other goalkeeper I was talking about, and they didn't know what to expect, right? They had these three goalies. One was Greek. He was an absolute Adonis. He was massive. Like I'm talking, he was like jacked, right?
Yeah.
And
Fair
I was
enough.
like, okay, he was the starter last year.
Yeah.
Jas has come in. He's explosive, tall, everything you want in a goalkeeper, literally looks the part, acts the part. He had all the cool boots, all the cool gloves, absolute legend of a guy too. And he comes on. He's got the sidewinder. He's got all the tools. He's got, high balls, low dive,
clean catches,
everything. He looks so sharp, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, fair enough. I'm competing with him. Now it's my turn to learn. So he's gone. And it makes my life so much easier when your role is defined. Because now, all of a sudden, right, you go, this is what my role is. I am just here to be the best teammate I can be, right?
Yeah.
And I get to learn off this goalkeeper who is for sure going to go pro,
Yeah.
And then the next year, I was absolutely kissed on the, I got so lucky. I had 2 centre backs who were beyond class.
Yeah.
One of them he's now playing in Nice, Moses
cool.
Bombito. Shout out if you probably won't watch this, but anyways.
You never know.
You never know. He was playing youth academy in one of the MLS teams from Canada. I can't remember which one. I think it was Toronto. And he was beyond class. Toronto FC actually, not MLS, but he was really good.
Oh yeah.
And so he could take the ball, right? And I remember playing the whole season with him, and he wouldn't want to pass the ball back to me because he was already so good with his feet. He could do all these like step overs and pirouettes and like little turns and stuff. And I'm going, mate, just pass the ball and we can come out the other side. But no, he would dribble the attackers and make them look silly. He was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we ended up having a great run. I think I conceded only 7 goals the whole season.
Yeah, that's fantastic stats.
So it was great.
Yeah.
It was awesome. But yeah.
So, Pat, tell me about your like day-to-day. What do you do in the day in the life of a college student athlete?
Absolutely. Well, it kind of changed a little bit from college to college because expectations are different.
Yeah.
But I'll go with Creighton.
Yeah.
Right? Because we both experienced that, and you can chime in if you see anything.
Yeah.
That was different. But
100%.
pretty much for a lot of it was, wake up around 8 a.m.
Yep.
Have a lift.
Yep.
Most days.
Uh-huh.
Then go to classes from about 11 to 3.
Yeah.
And then you're pretty much on the pitch from 3 to 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the whole day. And then after that, you might get to hang out with mates, and if you're lucky and you've got a car, go to the shops or go somewhere and do something.
Did you have a car in the States?
Oh, no.
I did.
I ended up getting it. You had a car?
I had a car at Creighton.
You did?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't.
No, it wasn't a great car.
It was a bit of a shitbox, if I can say that.
Yeah. But yeah, and so if we could, we'd go and do something like. Yeah. I don't know what would you do in Omaha? There was like a lot of.
Well, there's not really much
on a Friday or a Saturday.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of stuff to do on a weekend, even a Thursday night. Ladies' night out at the country bar.
Yeah. I never went to that country bar.
Oh my God, you should have.
Was it the one? Was it the one with square dancing in the middle? Was that?
Yeah.
Oh,
there
okay. I think I went once.
There was like a wooden dance floor. And
was it the one with the electronic bull as well?
Oh, no. Yes.
Yeah. Did you get on that?
Yes, I sure did. Yeehaw. It was so fun. All the girls and I, we had so many nights out there.
Yeah.
Shout out Girly Pops. We
that's
off
what
there.
Honestly, that's what college was about. That's what even our coaches were like, you've got to do this as a team. You've got to go out and have fun. Because that's how you create those bonds that really they last past just, those few years that you guys have together,
Yeah. A lot of coaches are really good about understanding that this is what, kids do in college. They're gonna go out to parties, and if they want to, they're gonna drink. And if you surround yourself with good people and good mates, then you're gonna have a good time, and you're gonna be safe about it.
For me, it was always the duality. At Creighton, it was like I've never met a group of blokes who would work so hard during the day, and then also be able to have a really good time as well. Yeah. So like on a Saturday, if we had a big game against like a Villanova or, one of these massive schools, Marquette, who knows, right? Yeah. One of those big schools that everyone plays against. Then we get a win, right? It was like almost expected for you to at least attend, a party or just be there. No pressure on you to drink, but you've got to be there and be around your mates, support them, have fun together. Celebrate that victory. Yeah. There was always guys who were like kind of fringe characters that I used to see them that wouldn't get involved in it. Yeah. And then they're kind of outed in a way. which isn't, it's not a bad thing to be those guys. They're very successful athletes as well. But
so
it's
they
just
wouldn't drink.
well, not drinking, just not even coming to
Not
parties or
coming.
hanging out. Like we used to have these games nights with like all the Spanish guys.
Oh, yep.
Did you ever come play like Phase 10 or like the card games or anything? No?
I don't know about
Like
those
Unos
card
or
games.
something?
Maybe.
I don't know.
I
Can't
probably
remember.
would have, but
Yeah, and we just have those like all the time. You just be playing cards or relaxing, and then
Yeah.
that's the kind of
it's
you
so
need
fun.
you need downtime because
Yeah.
you're working so hard.
Yeah.
Trying to perfect this craft. That always trying to reach the mountaintop.
Yeah.
And eventually, you just need to be like, hey, I need to relax, and that's a beautiful thing. You can work hard with these guys.
Yeah.
And girls and women and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
You work hard with them side by side.
Yeah.
And then you also know you can, relax and, tell them stuff and get connected on a deeper level. Like get to know them about their culture, because that's the beautiful thing about college as well.
Yeah.
Is you and me, we're from Australia,
Yeah.
the other side of the earth. People want to know what it's like to live in Australia. People want to know what it's like to live in Spain, Colombia, Portugal, wherever else, right?
Yeah.
And then you make friends all around the world. Like I would be so confident to say that I could go anywhere in Europe right now and just be like, okay, throw a dart at the board, and just I'd be able to call up a friend and be like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Can I sleep on your couch? Yeah,
100%.
And that's the beautiful thing about college in America, especially, is you get all these different boiling pots of culture and all this beautiful interconnectionness of diversity, which is unreal. You don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you could probably say that the same thing, right?
Yeah, you're right. College just brings people from all over the world to this university, and you're right. It's well said. It's a fantastic, beautiful, amazing thing to be able to know people from all over the world.
And you've already got the beautiful thing about going over there as an athlete.
Yeah.
You've already got something in common.
Yep.
Right, you were at Creighton. You wore the backpack, and you'd see them all wearing the backpack, and you'd be like, "All right, that's an athlete."
Yeah.
So you can go up and go like, "Oh, what sport do you play?" Or what are you doing? And then the next question would always be, "What's your major?" You're right.
Yeah. Exactly.
What did you end up graduating with?
I graduated with a bachelor's in journalism.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Right,
but at Creighton, I was studying graphic design.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Great.
So it kind of like coincided with each other.
Yeah, that's great. I think I did a Bachelor of Business. So there you go.
I remember.
Yeah, I started in associate's degree in science, and I thought I was going to be a physio. And then, you just change your path.
Yeah.
And just
I thought I was going to be a paramedic.
There you go. Right. And that's awesome. So
Yeah.
you do get to change, it's not just a set path, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So after Iowa Western, the community college, your first 2 years in the States, you transferred to Creighton University.
Absolutely.
Now, how did you go about that process? Like, was there's a transfer portal?
Yeah, there's a transfer portal. But I think, look, to be honest, that little phase of, because it was more, I remember exactly how it happened when I went from Creighton to Gardner Webb.
Yeah.
But when it went from Iowa Western to Creighton, it was a little bit of a blur again.
Okay.
Because as it kind of started to get to Iowa, it was all the rush.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened was there was a goalkeeper that got injured, Andrew Carter. I don't know if you remember him, and he had actually torn his ACL in the summer.
Damn.
And so they're looking for another goalkeeper. And so they called me up and they go, "Oh, well, we've seen you've done well at Iowa Western. We know about you." I think I would have been one of the first people to go from Iowa Western to actually Creighton. They'd never recruited out of there before, which was interesting. Yeah.
Oh.
And then Giorgio Probo, he ended up coming as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
which was awesome.
Wasn't he from?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're still
Fair
really
enough.
good mates. He lives in Italy. He lives in Canada now, but he goes back and forth to Italy.
Yeah.
I want to see
He
him
went
soon.
pro.
He's great. He's doing so good. But yeah, so anyway, so to go from Iowa Western to Creighton was a massive step for me. I remember going there and talking with one of my good mates. His name's Xander. He lived in America his whole life. His whole dream was to go to Creighton. And when he mentioned the school, it was always a pipe dream, like this big college that was famous for being really good at soccer.
Yeah.
I never was going to go there. There's no chance. And then I get this call up from Johnny Torres.
Yep.
The then coach of the Blue Jays.
Yep.
He goes, "Hey mate, we're looking for a goalkeeper." And at this stage, I was actually considering quitting soccer and doing a different path.
Okay.
Just because I'd come back to Australia and everything was a bit difficult with COVID and right, and it was just a total nightmare. The whole world was in collapse.
Yep.
And so I was kind of A little bit indecisive at this moment. I had gotten offers to go and play full ride at other colleges, but kind of mid-major colleges.
Okay.
And I opted not to do that. And then Creighton called, and that was like probably top 3 of the colleges that like if they called, I like you got to answer the call.
100%. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you just got to.
Yeah.
And so they call up, and I'm like, yeah, g'day, how you doing? And Johnny goes, look, we're looking for a keeper. At this stage, you're not going to get any athletic scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
But on it, we want you to come and we want you to compete for the starting gig, right?
Yeah.
At that time, Paul Cruz was there,
Yes.
who everyone in the whole college system thought this Paul Cruz guy was going to go MLS next year.
Yeah.
So everyone's telling me, oh, he's going to go MLS, guy. Don't worry, you're going to compete.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, great, no worries. So 1 year, and then next year I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And as life turns out, that's not how it works.
Yep.
He ended up staying around for like 6 years or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, I got to learn so much from him as well. He was, he went to the Hamburg, Academy, a great history.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. So
Yep.
serious player, right? Yeah. He ended up going to Charleston to end up playing in Carolina.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
oh, cool.
but yeah, and anyway, so I get a call up from Johnny. He goes, you should come over. Again, another like week or 2 turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rushing to get visas sorted. Got to go to Sydney, do all this stuff, and then come back to Omaha, which has ended up being 20 minutes away from Council Bluffs.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh God, I was trying to get out of the Midwest, but here we go again. Negative 25 degrees in winter, and snowing. You wake up and
More
it's
of
just
the
white
cold.
outside.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But that's how that one happened, and then eventually after being at Creighton for a couple years, I wasn't getting a gig. They weren't starting me, which is that's football. That's life. It happens.
Yeah.
You still learn so much. You have a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Studies are amazing at Creighton. Great business college, right?
Big business and medical.
Absolutely.
School. Yeah.
Right. Beautiful. So I learned lots in the classroom, lots on the football pitch, learning so much, right? And then I decide after a very long time of considering my options, I go, okay, I need to start looking and see if I can find a place I can play and get treated and get a little bit of scholarship as well.
Yeah.
So then I go I go and meet with Scott Wells through Matt Wade.
Okay.
And I go to Gardner Webb, which is
he's the head coach at Gardner Webb.
Yeah, Scott Wells, awesome guy.
Yeah.
English, British guy, very much energetic. He ends up doing really well at Gardner Webb, great.
Yeah.
As well. And then you go on this transfer portal, which is everything it sounds like.
Yeah.
You got to enter the portal, and it's a big thing, and you got to talk with the coaches and talk with compliance and talk with all the admin stuff, like how you get in to do it. Yeah. And I don't know, you've done it a couple times as well.
Yeah, so. It's kind of like you surrender your scholarship and you're basically looking for the next school. Mm-hmm. So once you say to your administration or your head coach or whoever at school, you say, I want to enter the transfer portal, it means you want to move to another school.
It's honestly like LinkedIn or something. Like, it's like I'm leaving this job and I'm giving my 2 weeks notice, and now I need to find another job.
It is. It is exactly like that.
And you get approached by coaches and all that stuff.
There's a whole list of names of people who are in the portal, and all of these coaches from all over the country they're looking at it constantly, and
they know you.
It's your position, your age, your height, your class, freshman, sophomore, whatever you are. Yeah. And they see I need a goalkeeper. Yeah. Or I need a striker. Yep. A right back. I'm gonna message every single right back and see if I can get them to come. And that's exactly how the transfer portal worked. And
it means so. Before you're on the portal, you're not allowed to talk to any coaches of any other school. If you do that, that's against the rules. Big no-no. Yeah. But the second you go on the portal, coaches can, come to you and be like, hey, I want to talk to you. You want to come play for us? You want to come play for us? And I think when I was, sitting at Creighton, which is this big prestigious soccer school, I did get a lot of those contacts. And there's different levels in America. Yeah. You know this as well as anyone
You're talking
else.
about divisions?
Yeah, division. There's Division 1, Division 2.
Division 3, yeah.
And then NAIA?
Yeah. So Division 3 is that's the lowest, and then there's other entities of college sports. So there's NJCAA, which is the junior college.
Junior college, and there's Division 1, 2, and 3 of that
1, 2,
as well.
3, exactly. There's NAIA. Yeah. Can't remember what it stands for.
Yeah, association. It's
International
NAI. I know it's
Association.
NAIA.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to try NIA
Yeah.
all the time. You'd never get it right. But
Yeah. There's actually a whole bunch that I actually had no idea about.
Yeah.
There's like
And
like
really good schools in all levels.
yeah, 100%.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
You always think it's like, oh, if you're not Division 1, you're not in a good school. But there was like Division 2 schools in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Yep.
There's West Palm, I think, University or something. Really awesome university.
Yeah.
And you just would never think of it because it's Division 2, but it's
I
still
know.
massive school.
Mhm.
You know, awesome school, great experience, high level.
Yeah, national championships here and there.
Everywhere.
You know?
Right?
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter what division you go in. You know,
if you
you
get
bring
into
your
the
quality.
system, you can progress. You can stay. You
Yeah.
know, you can. There's a lot of options for you.
Yeah, and there's so much
Yeah.
money in the college
It's
system.
mental.
Like
Facilities are unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many like donors and sponsors that just
Yeah.
like flow money through
Yeah.
through schools, especially Creighton. Like it's a
Yeah.
massive basketball school.
Yeah, massive.
March Madness is just crazy at that time.
They're always in Sweet 16.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's just like a lot of sponsors that you know, produce and flow money through Creighton, and that's just how
Did you
they
ever get to watch like an American football game, like a Division
yeah,
1?
NFL,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
100%. When I was living in Texas, I
Yeah.
watched the Cowboys,
Wow,
and I also went to New York to watch the New York Giants.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it
But
was sick.
I went
And
and watched
college games,
Yeah,
too.
I went and watched the Nebraska game, like the Cornhuskers. That's like in Lincoln.
Really?
Mental.
That's
like
insane.
Just
Their field, their stadium
oh,
is just
I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. Arrowhead is the Kansas City, but their stadium's massive.
yeah.
In Lincoln, in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And you go Midwest, no one knows anything about America anywhere
Uh-huh.
else other than Americans.
Uh-huh.
And it's this massive thing, like hundreds of thousands of fans.
But
it's crazy.
you talk like Americans and people that know the college system. You talk about like, I don't know, the Blue Jays
Yeah.
or the Huskers or
Yeah.
whoever it is, Bowling Green or everyone just knows what like the mascots are and,
Yeah.
and what colleges are what and which schools are huge, and it's such a like it's a cool thing to talk about with everyone
It's-
that's gone
it's
through the
so
college
different
system.
it's so different to here in Australia.
It is.
People really do know about the the ins and outs of the college system, even all the way through the levels. Like it's
Mhm.
all little communities, that run it. And then, even in Council Bluffs, right? And I still find that so funny. Council Bluffs, Iowa, this tiny little
Yeah.
like remote little place in the middle of America, and there's a whole thriving community around this community college.
Yeah.
There's tens of thousands of people that are obsessed with the Reavers. That's their mascot. Like
yeah.
they're obsessed. That's their life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you go to these different places and you get to get a taste of it. Like these people have grown up supporting not Collingwood or Carlton or something like that, like you would here in Melbourne,
Mm-hmm.
but like these teams that are colleges, which you and I were fortunate enough to go and play for these teams.
Mhm.
And there's like you see them sitting there on the bench on the in the grandstands watching you play, and you're like, these guys have been watching this team since before you were even a part of it, and you get to be a part of that. And it's so much bigger than yourself, goes
Yeah.
through so many generations. It's an amazing thing. But yeah.
Yeah. So how did you like balance your school and your soccer life? What
Yeah.
like you had classes and you had gym and you had soccer training.
Yeah.
How was that like trying to balance it?
It was hectic in the beginning.
Yeah.
You are stressing. I'm not gonna lie, you're stressing to get to classes, you're stressing to get to trainings, to get them on time, and you don't want to be late because if you're late, you get in trouble by the coaches. But
Oh, yeah.
eventually, you just learn to prepare yourself. The night before, you've got your training kit there ready. You've
Yeah.
got the books you need for your classes. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of late nights involved.
Yeah.
Probably
Oh,
more
yeah.
last minute study than I'd care to admit.
Yeah.
But you get on top of it. I mean, I think from high school onwards, I mean, I know you went to high school in Brisbane, right?
Yep.
You kind of learn from there the fundamentals of what you need to do to get prepared and organized
Yep.
for a day of schooling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no different in college. But this time you just go out there and you get to play the sport you love, which is great.
Yeah.
Right? You wake up in the morning, it's 8 a.m., you get to go for a lift.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And you got to hustle to class and you've got that organized.
Yeah.
And you got to get back to training and then
And
I
it really
think-
does
yeah.
prepare you for like the real
Oh.
world. Trying to get to work, trying to get your work done in time or whatever you need to do. It I sound like a teacher
No,
or,
it's so
or
true,
a
though.
parent or
You
whatever.
don't realize until it starts happening. So I've started working in real estate, and it's been a little bit hectic with getting contracts done or negotiating for the sale of a house, which is for a lot of people their biggest asset.
Yeah.
Right. And that's stress. But fortunately, I spent 5 years in a kind of a stressful environment, but also very much a fun environment.
Yeah.
And you get to learn how to prepare yourself for a big day, how to prepare yourself for like something that isn't necessarily going to be as straightforward. You learn to pivot a lot as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, in junior college,
Yeah.
we would have to drive 6 hours to a game, get changed on the bus, and then expect to win.
Yeah.
And it's like,
what?
Yeah. I'm sure you experienced that as well. But it's just like, that's what you got to do in those first couple years at a junior college, where you're not necessarily going to play the upper echelon of college systems.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely an entry level.
Mm-hmm.
But then those 2 years at Creighton, you got to go and do all the cool stuff. Go play against these big teams and go to these locker rooms that are like, whoa.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, it's surreal walking into a locker room and just like
your name's there and
it's a movie.
Kids there. It's so cool.
Oh, it's so cool. Yeah,
it's great.
100%.
Yeah.
So, what was your most memorable moment on and off the pitch?
That's so easy for me. I mean, I'm a goalkeeper, right?
Yep.
So are you.
Yep.
You must love saving penalties.
Oh, yep.
So in the I think it was regional or districts or something for Iowa Western, we were 2-0 up against a team that we ended up playing 5 times that season, which is like unheard of.
That's ridiculous.
Iowa Lakes, which is like they were our biggest rivals, and we beat them every single time we played them that year. And so it was the regional final.
Yeah.
We needed to win this game to get us to the national tournament.
Yeah.
And we were 2-0 up. Happy days, cruisy. We've beaten these guys twice before. It's just another day in the life for us,
Yeah.
And then I concede a goal because I completely mess up with that centre back I was talking about earlier, Moses.
Yeah.
I passed the ball back to him and something went wrong.
Yeah.
Classic, goalkeeper mess up. Okay, 2-1 down. You know what? Still, we're going great. Life's good.
Yeah.
And then they get this. I have the ball in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, there's like a 10-second rule. Or I don't know the rule, 6 seconds.
Yeah.
However long you're allowed to hold the ball.
Yeah. Which is never,
no one
ever follows it, but they're going to like enforce it now.
Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are. So the ref, who, by the way, we had this ref like nearly the whole season. We knew him by name. He was like, we were like mates with him, like buddy. Yeah. And he calls this foul on me outside the box for holding the ball too long. It's how ridiculous. I went back and watched the video and it was just definitely not 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And anyways, he calls the foul. They get this free kick. My wall jumps. It goes under the wall. I miss it. It goes under my hand. 2-2. Goes to extra time.
Yeah.
Golden goal. Penalties.
Mm.
So I'm sitting there going, okay, I've got a decision. Am I going to roll over and be the guy who's just cost, my team this very important match, or am I going to, stand up and do something about it?
Yeah.
I end up going the right way for one of them, make a save, happy days, buzzing. There's good photo of me leaning all the way back celebrating, which is awesome.
Yeah, is that the one that Green Room Futures posted?
Probably.
That me and you both are on? Yeah.
Yeah. And then that way, then left, and I end up saving like 3 or 4 penalties in this penalty shootout. Just got absolutely crazy.
That's insane.
By the way, I'd like this to be known. I saved 1 penalty in the season, and that's probably the first time I ever saved a penalty in my career. God awful at penalties. I don't know why. Just never been good at penalties.
Fair enough.
And this time I just end up stepping up. Mike Brown goes crazy. Life's good, and we end up going forward to the national tournament. We do really well.
Cool.
Unfortunately, we lose 1-0 in the final, but that's football, right?
Yeah.
So that was an amazing kind of little college moment.
Yeah.
But other than that, Yanni, I mean, honestly, getting to meet all those people was just surreal in itself.
Yeah.
Making so many friendships and people you can lean back on. I mean,
yeah.
What was yours? Did you have a big one or?
My memorable moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. On
and off the pitch.
Off the pitch is the same. You know, it's meeting all of these people from all over the world. It's these friendships that you make. It's the connections that you now have. Like I'm doing this job now, and I would never have done this job without going through the college system, without meeting Matt, without without America.
Yeah,
basically.
absolutely.
So But my on the pitch moment was my last season of college in Melbourne, Florida, playing for Florida Tech.
Yeah.
It was it was the Elite Eight game. We needed to win this game to advance to the final four.
You gotta just keep winning. That's all you gotta do.
Yep. It was it would have been the second time for our school to go through to the final four, and it was a big game. And the thing that made it the most memorable for me was that at the start of the season I had a goal, and my goal was to push past the Elite Eight game and make it to the Final Four. That was my ultimate goal, because we didn't succeed the year before, and I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to prove a point, and in that Elite Eight game, we were winning 4-0.
Yeah.
And right before the end of the first half, I conceded a goal, so it was 4-1.
Yeah.
This is a ridiculous game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in the second half, one of our strikers, she unfortunately gets injured. She tore her Achilles, like straight up tore.
Oh.
So she comes off the pitch immediately, and that kind of throws our play around, because she's one of those players that can hold the ball and turn players, and just is an absolute menace, and dances around everyone.
Yeah.
And so next thing you know it, I concede another goal, 4-2.
Oh no.
Next thing you know, I concede another, 4-3.
Oh no.
Our formation's just going, it's going bonkers.
Total collapse.
Yep. And then next thing you know, it's 4-4.
Oh no, Yanni. What are you doing?
Something had to change. You should have seen like the footage. All of the players were like screaming at our coach, like saying, "Do something! Like change it! Like what are you doing?" And they, it was insane.
Yeah.
And all three of those goals to make it 4-4 happened in the span of 5 minutes.
It happens.
So when people say don't ever give up, no matter how much you're losing by, literally don't give up, because anything can happen.
You score a goal in 10 seconds.
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. You can score 3 goals in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was insane. But anyway, it was 4-4 for the for like the next 20 minutes, and then it goes into extra time, and I'm like, at this point I'm like, oh my God, like my heart was absolutely pounding.
Absolutely.
And then the other goalie, she it was a ball that came, it was crossed in.
Yeah, crossed in.
The other goalie, she kind of like
drops it or something.
She caught it, dropped it, and almost like walked the ball
into the goal. It happens.
And so we're all like, did it go over? What's going on? What's going on? And then, the whistle goes, goal's in. Yeah. It's 5-4. We are going absolutely ballistic.
Yeah.
And then the ref calls full time, and it was just the most ecstatic moment in my life. Yeah. Like just everyone running all to me, and it was just It's
funny
insane.
how those games happen, and it's always in the cup games. It's like you're winning 4-1, everything's too easy. Suddenly it's 4-2. You're like, we're still winning. 4-3. What's going on? Something's wrong. 4-4. Oh no! And then you get lucky on the goal, and happy days. Relief, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. Anything can happen in sports. So
yeah, just keep going.
But yeah, most memorable moment.
Definitely.
Lots of photos that came from that. Our ticket was punched through to the Final Four, and that was the high point of my college career. So
awesome.
Yeah, for you, what did you graduate with?
Well, I graduated with a business and marketing degree.
Yeah, and
business management. Sorry, and it was from Gardner Webb, which was my last school.
Yeah.
That was again a culture shock. North Carolina. Different kind of environment, lots of new faces, new people. I had to be like that kid first day of class again, and just really kind of try and experience the whole college. I felt like a freshman coming in again, even though I was a senior. New school, new people.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a great experience in North Carolina. The other thing about college was it takes you everywhere around America.
Yeah.
And you get to go and experience these things, and you get to go on spring breaks, and you get to go have fun with your mates in a new place. And it's really freeing, and you learn to be an adult.
Yeah.
You learn to be grown up and how to take care of yourself while also being in a little bit of a a bubble of safety and security
Mm-hmm.
rather than just that, you know, go out and experience life on your own.
Yeah.
You still have that. Okay, you're on a campus. You're in a city that, you know, people know of you because you go to this college,
Yeah.
right? So you have a little safety bubble, but also you're an adult. You're living
Yeah.
on your own. You
Yeah.
know, so
And college campuses are like kind of their own towns.
Oh.
It's
Yeah.
it's straight out of the movies, but
Yeah.
it really is. Like the roads are straight up college roads.
College
like
road,
only
yeah.
students would be driving down those streets.
Definitely.
So,
Yeah.
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 So before we wrap it up,
Mhm.
can you give us some advice that you might
Yeah.
say to some kids out there that are wanting to go to college?
Okay. Well, number one, talk to Matt.
Yes,
First
talk
and
to Matt
foremost,
Wade.
talk to Matt. He'll help you. But honestly, just accept that it's not as straightforward as some things might seem. Getting over to a college system isn't as simple as, you know, signing up and now you're there. You
Yeah.
know, it's a process. You got to be all in. There's a little bit of luck involved, but ultimately, if you know the right people, they'll connect you with the right people.
Matt at Green Room Futures, he's been in the business for
Yep.
over a decade. He's helped just about 6,000 student athletes, myself and Patrick included.
Absolutely.
So it's a fantastic system, and it's an amazing company that I now get to work for, and I'm now the media and client manager, so I'm able to help these other kids
Definitely.
go through the system and, you know, go through the same experiences that we did. And if I can help another kid have an amazing adventure like I did, I think it's
Yeah.
a way of giving back, and it's a way of helping other student athletes like myself. And so it's a fantastic opportunity. And it's this podcast is the start of something new.
Yeah.
And
Get a little bit of insight from people who have done it.
yeah, and with this, it's fantastic. It's a way to talk to real life people.
Yeah.
Talk about our real life experiences, and so we'll wrap it up here.
Awesome.
Patrick, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, any student athletes out there, any parents out there, if you are interested in the college system, if you want to go through the true American lifestyle and go to college, then Green Room Futures is the right pathway for you. And if we can help you in any way, one way or another, then we are here. So thank you all so much. This is episode 1, or this is the first episode of our new podcast that we are starting. So stay tuned for any more episodes. Send through some questions if you'd like. I am your host, Ayana, and you can also reach out to Matt, who is the director and founder of Green Room Futures. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
Patrick, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All
Great.
right, thanks,
Fantastic.
guys.
Awesome.
See ya.
See ya.